Hello, everybody, and welcome back to What We're Into. That's right. This is the show, the Patreon exclusive show, where we talk about what we're into. I'm your host, DJ Woldridge. With me, as always, is Roxy Stryer. Hello, Roxy.
Hi, DJ.
Oh, my goodness. We've got some very fun things to talk about today. And as I mentioned
Yeah.
up top, this is typically a Patreon exclusive show. If you're watching this and it's not on Patreon, lucky you. This is a taste of what we do normally over on Patreon. So if you want to hear us talk about what have we been talking about? We've been talking about so many things. Yeah, all these other shows, stuff that we don't cover on the normal show. You can do that over at patreon.com/only stupid answers. Roxy, what have we been talking about? What we're into recently?
Well, I guess we really talked about Peacemaker, not on what we're into. At the
Although that's where we will keep covering Peacemaker is what we're into.
yeah, Wednesday, which I was super into. A lot of reality competition shows, Big Brother.
Yeah, or
Um,
like I just saw Toxic Avenger and
oh yeah,
Weapons. So if you want to hear those movie thoughts,
me pulling
um,
up my list because my memory is seemingly that of a turtle. No,
well,
turtles have
listen,
good memories. Goldfish. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh my God.
do turtles have? I mean, turtles are get old, so one hopes they have good memories.
Oh, that's an interesting point, DJ. I actually don't know if they have good. I'll do some googling.
Yeah, look it up. Let's do some research. Um, but today we've got a special one because unbeknownst to Roxy and I, we went to the same screening of a new movie, the new Darren Aronofsky joint, Caught Stealing, which has just got a whole star-studded cast led by Austin Butler. We've got Regina King, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, Liev Schreiber, Vincent D'Onofrio, Bad Bunny, Griffin Dunn. Who was Griffin Dunn in them? Oh yeah. Dude, Roxy, this is
What are
gonna
you
blow your
whispering
mind.
right now?
I was just going through the cast and I was like,
Oh,
Griffin Dunn. I'm probably going to pronounce this incorrectly, and I apologize. But Tenoch Huerta, who you may recall was Namor in Black Panther, was in this movie, which I didn't catch. He's the bartender at the end of the movie. I was like,
oh,
that was Namor?
no, I didn't catch that either. That's
Yeah, that was like, where was Namor in the movie? Anyway, um,
By the way, I just need to chime in for 1 second, DJ. Turtles, particularly giant tortoises, have surprisingly good memories.
good for them. I'm
Yep.
happy for them.
It was very
Um,
important that I let you know that in this moment.
yeah, they live a very long life, so one hopes a good memory would come along with that. Roxy, you never watched Doctor Who, correct?
No, never.
Okay. One of they obviously introduced a lot of sci-fi concepts, and what Maisie Williams was that Arya on Game of
Yep.
Thrones?
Yep.
She showed up for a little arc on the show, and she played an immortal character. And the interesting thing they added to that is that you're basically she's been around for centuries, maybe thousands of years, and your own memory only lasts for so long. So she has like a full libraries full of journals to keep track of all the stuff she's done because once it gets far enough, the memory of it drifts away. And I'm like, that's an interesting sci-fi concept.
That is interesting, huh?
Now,
Huh.
so I'm glad the tortoises don't have that problem. Anyway, what we're talking about is caught stealing. Roxy, even though you and I were at the same screening, I did not catch you afterwards to hear your
No, but you sent
thoughts.
me a text which I loved. You were like, "I
Yeah,
see you." I was like, "Ah."
I would because normally I'm on the end.
You
This
weren't in
time
your
because
seat. You saw
I was like it wedged in the back. It was and the movie's about to start. So I was like, hey,
you saw me
I'm
flip
also here.
this way, and I was like,
Yeah,
"He says he's here, but
yeah.
that's a seat."
Yeah. And it was. I saw you coming up, and I was kind of like, "Oh, does she? Am I in her line? I'll send her a text, and hopefully it won't be weird. Hopefully it'll come
No, it was
across as like,
great.
hey." But so what did you think?
It's so crazy. I have no idea what your thoughts were. Which I'm so excited. I guess I can give mine first, but I'm more interested
Yes.
in hearing yours.
Too late. Passed the ball to you.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot for it. Fine, I'll just tell you.
Okay.
Uh, I loved this movie. I loved this movie. I was shocked. I knew that I was excited for this, but I didn't expect to like love it. And then I left the theater and I loved it more. And now it's been 2 days and I love it more. I think that there's a couple of factors that really go into that. Number one being that Austin Butler blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
Like truly blew me out of the water. I was like, wow, this guy is so good. And also so problematically my future husband. Like I just loved him.
Someone
Uh,
let him know.
I also think that Darren Aronofsky makes interesting choices 100% of the time.
Hmm.
So his movies are very watchable
Yes.
because you want to see what he's going to do and how he's going to do it. And so I thought that they made really, really great cinematic choices in this. And then I was interested in the storyline, which pretty much is written. You put up the poster for a second, but it's like two Jews, two Russians. Oh, it doesn't say it there. On most posters, it says two Jews, two Russians, and a guy, like whatever. It's
Yeah.
like essentially the start of a joke,
Yeah.
but it's the premise of the movie. And yeah, I thought that this was excellent. I will give you guys a little behind the scenes information about me personally is that after I watched this, the next day I went to Real Rejects to watch Requiem for a Dream, which I had never seen.
Wow.
And
Very, very
those
different.
were drastically different experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
Well,
watch Caught Stealing 50 more times before
mhm.
you forced me to watch the masterpiece
Yeah.
that is
Requiem for a
Requiem
Dream
for
is
a Dream.
great. It
The
is a hard
masterpiece. It's a
watch.
masterpiece.
It is a hard watch.
Somebody should have warned me.
Yeah.
After watching
Yeah.
Caught Stealing, going into that, I was like, ooh, and then I was like,
Yeah,
hell.
I would argue Caught Stealing. I think I would argue Caught Stealing is Darren Aronofsky's most mainstream movie because he's flirted with. He was supposed to do the Wolverine, and he was supposed to do a Batman at one point, and those fell through for various reasons. And so this kind of felt like him going, fine, 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 fine. Give me something franchise adjacent because this is based off a book by Charlie Houston, who coincidentally also wrote one of my favorite Moon Knight runs ever. I would argue one of the best. And this is apparently part of a trilogy. I don't know if they're going to do the other two, but I thought that was interesting. So for my take, I also loved it. That does not surprise me. Darren Aronofsky tends to make movies, especially recently, that are kind of controversial. He's never made a movie I don't like on
I've
some
missed a
level.
lot of them, DJ. I haven't seen The Whale, which I
Yeah.
didn't even realize was his until this
Yep.
week. And I didn't see Mother.
Yeah.
Did you like Mother? That seems to
Yeah.
be his most controversial.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like I like The Whale, I like Mother, I like Noah, I like I vibe with the guy. Like his stuff that people are like, I don't know. And there's stuff in The Whale that there's one scene in particular in The Whale that I think like might be too much, like I might do differently. I remember when I saw Noah,
I didn't see that either.
when I
maybe
saw
it-
Noah, I was just coming off of filming, and this was a while ago, so I was in my 20s. I think I was in my 20s, and so I'd been out in the sun all day, and I hadn't worn sunscreen, so I was like literally vibrating from like exhaustion. And the beginning of that movie is such a like head trip. I was like, what? Is this real? And then once Noah clicks into its core premise, it becomes very interesting, especially for somebody like Aronofsky comes from a different background than I do. But as a church kid, I was like, this is really compelling. And so, like you said, Aronofsky makes interesting choices always. And I think I vibe with that. So even his bigger swings like Mother or Noah or The Fountain, I'm like, I actually really like this.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously there's this stuff like The Wrestler and Black Swan, which I think are some of his most accepted movies, which I also like. I just like his movies. Pi is great. Requiem for a Dream is great, but it is an incredibly hard watch. I would say the same thing for Mother for different reasons. It's like, I don't know. I liked it. I don't know that I'll rewatch it anytime soon. This, like you said, I would, but I also love these types of crime movies with a bunch of weirdos in it. Like that's my bag. Like I wish we'd make one of these every year, at least one. I'd see them. I'd see all of them. And especially one made by one of my favorite filmmakers. Yeah. Austin Butler, perfectly cast in this role. All Matt Smith, great. Every cast member. You mentioned the two Jews, which are Liev Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio, and there's a part of the movie I'm like, why'd you cast those guys for this role? Because we barely spent any time with them, and then once we start reaching the end game, I'm like, oh okay.
How amazing was Liev in this? Vincent's amazing
good.
too, but I was like, you could do this?
Very, very good. And then I was kind of wondering, not to get in the weeds, but I was kind of wondering what like Liev Schreiber makes sense. Apparently, he's like half Jewish. Vincent D'Onofrio's not.
It's
And I was
got
like,
to
I
be
wonder
Italian.
what. Yeah, I was gonna say, and I was like, I wonder why. And then as I realized, I'm like, oh, that's. Think about how Vincent D'Onofrio, almost everything I've seen in him is huge. Not next to Liev Schreiber. So I'm thinking that might have been the choice of like, I need these guys to be physically intimidating. Who is a guy that is roughly the same size as Liev Schreiber? Vincent D'Onofrio. I'm like, that makes sense. That's a good.
I'm
Because
just
they're
assuming that Darren's Jewish because
he is.
Aronofsky, but he might just be Russian.
No, he is.
Oh,
And yeah, so love this type of movie. My only critique, and I want to avoid spoilers because this movie's just dropping. So I'll say it this way: I think Zoe Kravitz is great in this movie, but she's underutilized. She kind of fits the typical girlfriend role in this, and considering so many of the other characters get so many quirks and so much to like do. She's great with what she's given, but it's, she's the Swiss Army girlfriend. She's also a paramedic, so she helps with certain medical stuff. And it's like, all right, she's a actress of enough talent that I would have given her more to do.
she was my
If that
least
makes
favorite part
sense.
of the movie. Which
Yeah.
I am shocked saying because I have always loved her.
Hmm.
Um, and I couldn't exactly tell whether it was a script thing or a performance thing or a combination of things that as lover of love, shipper of ships, um, it was weird that I was hoping to rush through those parts because
Yeah.
it just felt like it didn't hold that much weight. And then I don't want to give any spoilers, but
Hmm.
ultimately she was insignificantly less of the movie that I thought she was going to be in.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. Yeah, her basic function is that like a function in a lot of these like crime stories. She's supposed to be his moral north star, and and she's good in all that. It's just it's the most it's the like least nuanced part of the movie. Like this movie's not like Aronofsky's deepest film. It's on paper it's a pretty standard crime thriller, which I love though, so I'm not complaining about that. But if you like a lot of that media, as I do, the women don't tend to get a lot to do in that, which it's a bummer that that's also true here.
yeah, luckily Regina had a lot to do.
Yes.
But I do also think that while I completely agree with you that it's not his deepest film that I've seen,
Yeah.
it still was pretty deep
Yeah.
in certain moments. Like, um, do you remember the Langston Hughes poem, What Happens to a Dream Deferred?
No.
Okay, this is what we studied in school a lot. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it like blow up? Does it fester like a raisin in the sun? Essentially, it's an entire poem that is about what happens when you put off a dream or a dream is taken or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I thought about it multiple times watching this about like what happens to people when they are not able to pursue the thing that they or choose not to or cannot or whatever. Again, no spoilers, but
Hmm.
just that concept to me is really interesting of if you feel like you have a purpose on this planet and you no longer have that purpose for any reason,
Yeah.
what happens to you as a human? And so to me, that's a fairly deep concept in general that I'm not going to say they dove into in the deepest way,
Yeah.
but I was doing my own question, comment, concern box at the same time.
Yeah.
And I do think that isn't, we don't always see stories that tell that. We see a lot of people living their dream or attempting to live their dream movies. We don't see a lot of what we saw here, which I thought is biting off a big, uh, it's a big bite. And I don't know that a lot of people can relate to it, but I think that those who can, it was pretty deep.
Yeah. What? And again, like you meant, like Aronofsky's one of my favorites. So even on something like this that I would argue is his most mainstream, he's still bringing all of that skill to it. And the script was written by the author of the book, Charlie Houston, who again, if you guys haven't checked out, is Moon Knight Run with David Finch. I recommend it. Yeah, love it. It might be my second favorite movie of the year so far,
It's
behind
definitely a top 10
Sinners.
for me.
Yeah,
Very likely higher than that. But immediately when I walked out without doing my rankings, I was like, oh, that's a top 10 movie there for me.
yeah, Yeah, and again, I just love these scummy crime thrillers. I also watched in that relates to this. Have you seen the new Hulu movie on Disney? It's a Hulu movie, but you know Hulu's basically Disney Plus at this point. Eeny Meeny with Samara Weaving.
Say it.
Eeny Meeny, like Eeny Meeny Miny Mo, but just the first
Oh
part. Eeny Meeny is the name of the
no,
movie.
no.
Okay, so in that, Samara Weaving plays a former getaway driver
What year
that
is
ends
this?
up just now. It just came out.
Oh,
It literally just dropped in the past
I've
week.
never heard of this eeny meeny.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So I ended
I
up.
thought you were messing with me, DJ.
No. And if you like these types of, if you're like me and you tend to like this genre, it's worth checking out. It is not anywhere near as good as Caught Stealing, but if you like this type of thing, it's in the same genre. Crime thriller with a bunch of weirdos in it. And so she plays a former getaway driver that gets kind of roped back into the criminal underworld by her complete piece of shit boyfriend, just a fucking chaos agent of a boyfriend. It was interesting watching this within the same week as that. Eeny Meeny's an entertaining movie, but like just not only is Aronofsky really good at this, he's been doing it a while, and so he's able to bring a lot to it. Watching Eeny Meeny, watching it, I was like, who would have done an incredible job with this movie and does a great job with this type of movie is Steven Soderbergh. Steven Soderbergh would have just demolished Eeny Meeny. He would have like made a meal of it. So it's just an interesting compare and contrast thing. Samara Weaving's great in it. And they make some interesting, I think the interesting thing it brings to the table is that correlation between her and her ex and kind of dealing with toxic relationships that you can't just quite extract yourself from. I thought that was interesting, but what's in it? I met up with after the screening. I ran into Coy, friend of the show, Coy Jandrew, and we talked a little bit about this. And it's interesting. Yeah, a lot of people were there. Yeah, I know. It was I ran into him when we were validating our little parking pass.
That's so funny because I saw his review and I was like, which theater did he go to?
Yeah, it's weird that none of us knew we were going to that screening.
No.
And we were kind of talking about how this is getting a theatrical run. It'll be interesting to see how it does because now we don't know how anything does anymore and what the expectation is of something like this. Because to me, we used to get these movies and that was great. And I remember, and I told him about when I was driving down to the theater, they're doing the For Your Consideration Emmy things. And one of them was for Rebel Ridge, which you may recall was one of my favorite movies. It might have been my favorite movie last year. I can't remember. It was up there. Rebel Ridge was great. I'm trying to remember what I saw last year.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember we did an end of the year, and I feel like that might have been your number one.
Yeah, it was very high. It was very good. But because it's an Emmy thing, they have quotes from stuff and like something TV movie. I'm like, wait, are we considering Rebel Ridge a TV movie? And it's just interesting how.
What is the definition as something who gets zero theatrical release?
Yeah, but even then, maybe this one didn't. I know some Netflix movies do get a very brief, truncated theatrical release before they release on Netflix. I guess maybe that's not one of them. But it's interesting that one of my laments is Rebel Ridge is a great movie from a filmmaker I really love. And in the old days, this would have been like Aaron Pierre. That would have been his star making thing, which it looks like, he's playing Jon Stewart now. But it's just, it's interesting.
Starfighter this morning.
Huh?
Something.
Aaron Pierre?
I thought that I saw Jeff Snyder tweet that out, which I have not confirmed. I think I watched him tweet that.
But it's interesting it's just interesting watching this. Watching this makes me think about how, where we're at in the film industry.
Starfighter.
That's great. I mean, he's in it with Ryan Gosling, so he's not the lead. Back in the day, he should be the lead in more shit. He's so good. Anyway, the point is, I'll be interested to see how this does at the box office, and I'm interested to it just adds to my like, man, I just don't know how anything works anymore. I don't know where things are. I don't know how things work. I don't know.
I agree. Two things, DJ. Number one, I went to this big Apple TV Plus event this week where it was clearly all of their FYC type things.
Yeah,
So it was Severance, it was the morning show, it was Slow Horses, it was the studio, and it was Buccaneers. And then it was also F1. And I was like, wait, that's a movie though, right? Like I
no,
know that's an Apple TV Plus movie, but it did get a theatrical release. It's so weird to see it in a room with 5 Emmy shows and an
yeah,
F1.
yeah,
Like it's just it's kind of bizarre. Number 2, unrelated to what we're talking about, but totally related to what we're talking about. I couldn't help it when we were watching Caught Stealing, DJ, and as you're mentioning all these movies that you love, it reminded me so much of your movie.
yeah. Because
I
I
was
love
like,
those types of movies.
yeah, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Like they say, like write what you know, and very clearly you're very well versed in that genre. And
big fan. Yep.
I, honestly, like not to make you sad, but I was like really fucking bummed about that.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, this is. And there was like, there's you and I spoke a little bit. There was one specific monologue of mine that I thought was like just so effing killer.
yeah,
And I was like, this is so deserved to be made. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
ah,
Yeah, and it made me think. Obviously, that stuff is always on my mind when I watch this type of thing. But a friend of mine has been wanting to make a baseball themed crime thriller for a long time, and of course, this made me think of that. You know what I mean? That he's never been able to make. I don't know, but this is good. This is good. Go see it. Go support these types of movies because I want them to keep existing. The fact that like Roxy didn't even know what Eeny Meeny was is part of the
yeah,
point. Is that when they're just dumped on streaming, unless that little tile comes up when you're on the Disney Plus app that says, "Hey, this is a movie," you don't know, and that's a bump. That's how are you supposed to find things?
yeah, yeah. And what's so weird is that on most of my streaming services now, I don't have commercials.
Yeah, same.
And the billboards when you drive around town are all FYC right now.
Yep, 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 yep.
So if it's not, if it is not literally like recommended to you,
Yeah,
it's not anything I'm aware of, and that wouldn't be recommended to me, even though I like that kind of movie. It's not my typical watch. I watch television on these streamers.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So bummer.
Yeah.
And I
So,
like Samara Weaving a lot.
as I was trying, I was like, oh, Roxy might enjoy that movie. Again, it's not Caught Stealing, but I enjoy. I found it perfectly watchable and enjoyable, and yeah. So I guess our recommendation is keep watching what you're into with us, so that we can recommend things to you, so you know what's out there. Real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to our charity of the month. Every month we like to choose a different charity to direct our wonderful audience to. This month's charity is translifeline.org. Trans Lifeline is a grassroots hotline and microgrants nonprofit organization offering direct emotional and financial support to trans people in crisis. They provide peer support for the trans community, have been divested from the police since day one, and it is run by and for trans people. So many marginalized communities are under attack right now, and that is especially true for the trans community. So if you'd like to help support trans people in crisis, I highly recommend you check out translifeline.org. Of course, it is just as vital to find ways to help support people in your specific state or your country if you're not in the United States. So be sure to check out orgs in your area and try and help reach people where they're at and meet their specific needs. Vibes are bad right now, and they're only going to get better if we put the work in specifically where we're at. Now back to the show. Speaking of what's out there, Roxy, I want to tell you about a show that I've been watching that you haven't checked out yet.
I know you can't give me spoilers though, because I really am gonna watch it.
Are you going to watch Alien Earth?
Yes, I'm really gonna watch it because it's the number one show people are talking about right now. I'm the TV girl. Even though I didn't follow this franchise, I love Noah Hawley. I love FX. People told me I don't need to have seen any of the Alien movies, even though I did see the first one. So I feel like this is the must watch TV show of right now. I can't believe I think there's been 4 episodes.
Yes, the fourth one just dropped this week. Roxy, I was wondering, one, if you'd seen the Alien movies, which you just said you saw the first one, and then I was wondering if that's on the docket for Real Rejects, because that feels like the type of thing they'd have you sit down and
They
watch.
did. They just binged all of them with two people that weren't me,
Oh,
but
okay.
oftentimes they now are doing repeats of that because if there's a big franchise like that and multiple people haven't seen it, but I haven't seen the Predator movies and I haven't seen the Alien movies, so it's
First
just
Predator's really good. The first Predator's really good. My Predator, the very first Predator is great. I'm actually a big proponent of Predators. I think that's pretty good. Prey is good, and then the animated one they just did, Killer of Killers, is good. We're talking about Alien, but I'm more
no, but
first.
I
I've
think
seen
of
the
it
Predator
Predator.
movies. I haven't seen all the Alien movies.
I think of Predator when I think of Alien because that's that there's
Yeah.
a crossover, right?
Yeah. There's two crossover movies, and now more than ever, because it's all under the Disney umbrella. Like, there's going to be. You've seen the first Alien, so there's an android in the first Alien, and I think there's an android in pretty much every Alien movie. There's going to be an android in the next Predator, and it's the same type. Like in the trailer, we see its eyes flicker for a second, and it says Weyland Yutani, and so it's all now more than ever. It's all connected. Did I get the company right? I remember the Yutani part because Yutani is Weyland Yutani. Good.
Did you see Romulus?
Yeah, I thought Romulus was good. I
Okay.
liked it. Yeah. I know some people. This will be a good part of the discussion that I wanted to talk with you about. So I'm not going to spoil it. Alien Earth is good. I like it. In episode 4, they introduce the episode ends with an interesting offer that it's like this could make or break the show because we're doing something new with the xenomorph that we haven't seen in the movies, which is good. You're doing a show which is different than a movie.
And
You
it
should
takes
do
place
different stuff.
before the movies.
Yeah, the alien timeline's weird because since there's no faster than light travel, the ship that crashes on Earth in this movie has been in space for 60. They go in the cryo sleep. So, like, I think Romulus is supposed to take place in between Aliens 1 and 2, but because it takes so long for people to travel. So, like, the people on this ship, like, have been on the ship 65 years. I know, like, but theoretically, I can't remember how long the people on the ship in Alien were on. They theoretically left Earth before these people, but because cryo sleep, you know what I mean? Like, it's harder for me to keep track of the alien timeline because of the cryo sleep aspect of
But the
it.
reason I'm asking that is that when you think about if this takes place before, and you just said that there was an offering about the xenomorphs that we've never seen before, wouldn't
Yeah.
that impact the rest of the movies?
Or maybe it does. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Okay.
Because we're I think halfway through the first season, so it'll be interesting to see how that stuff connects up. You think, and it depends on how easy it is to get info to people across space and time. So we'll see where this goes. But if the basic offer of the show, which is in the advertising and everything, is we're following kids that had terminal illnesses that have been put into android bodies. That's who we're mainly following. So we've got children's minds in adult android bodies. Because what we've
And
settled on with
sorry, what year is this?
this is
Or the
what
future?
year is it? Yeah, this is 2120.
Okay.
And let's see or if anybody in the comments knows when the first Alien takes place. Because again, I'm at a point where I don't even bother trying to keep track of the
I
Alien
don't
timeline.
I don't remember the first Alien.
I'm like, if the internet says this one takes place before the first movie, sure. The Nostromo, give me a year. Okay, all right. You're not going to give me the year. It's somewhere. You all know what it is. You guys can yell about it in the comments. But Leonard Kim, by the way, you can watch live and join us in the comments by going to patreon.com/onlystupid-answers. Leonard Kim says, I've only seen Romulus. That's a good one. So we're kind of following them, and a deep space vessel crashes into Earth, and it has a bunch of deadly critters on it, and one of them deadly critters is a xenomorph. And we go from there. What's interesting is, like you said, Roxy, there's been a lot of buzz about it. There's a lot of talk about it. And I will say that when I first heard about this, I was like, making a TV show out of Alien sounds stupid. Because I like a lot of those movies. They're not necessarily deep. A scary alien gets out on the ship and starts murdering people. Those are the basic premise of every alien movie. I don't know how you stretch that in the show. And I think credit to Noah Hawley, who also did Legion and Fargo. They have introduced, who knows how it's going to do long haul, but at least in these first 4 episodes, they've introduced a lot of interesting concepts that warrant making it into a show. What's interesting, though, is I've heard a lot of people like the show. I like the show so far. I'll see comments I'll see people get really mad at it, like this is this is ruining Alien, that type of thing. I've also seen comments of this is a bad Alien adaptation, but a good sci-fi show, and I kind of don't know what that means. Because I don't. It's an interesting for me. It is an interesting case study of one of the hurdles of doing an IP extension like this, which is people bring to it what the IP means to them, and you have to
has meant to them for a long time.
Because to me, it's you got a scary ship with a scary monster on it, and you got the robot people. That's alien to me. I don't know. I would use that language. I've used that language before for the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie. I don't think it's a good adaptation of the character of Constantine, but it is a movie I enjoy. And what I mean by that is Constantine, the character that we're adapting, very British, the most British. And he's blonde, and you know what I mean? So by casting Keanu Reeves, who's very American, it's well, that's not Constantine. And they also introduce other mythology elements that don't really fit what we do with Constantine. So it's a movie I enjoy that doesn't quite adapt the character that I know from the comics. For something like Alien, I kind of don't know what that means, and so it's just interesting. And I kind of, it's tough because you haven't watched the show, but I am curious about your thoughts on people's expectations with IP and navigating that, and how faithful you need to be. I think we're halfway through. Yeah, I think we're halfway through. I'll look that up.
Because hopefully, DJ, maybe 8. I can catch up by the time that we're done, and that way we can do a episode on it.
Yeah. The episode 6 called The Fly, and even though Cronenberg's The Fly has no relation to Alien, just calling that episode The Fly makes me nervous for what happens on that episode. It's just an interesting little puzzle. And I'm not an Alien. I haven't seen 3 or 4, and I haven't seen any of the Predator crossovers. But I've seen Alien 1 and 2, Romulus, all the Prometheuses. And so for me, it feels like an Alien. It feels like you're doing all the things that you would want from an Alien show, and you're expanding the premise. And I also think for a lot of this stuff, if you, as a franchise goes on, you kind of need to be willing to break it a little bit. You can't be too beholden to, I think, in my opinion, this is a hurdle Star Wars has really struggled with. Because the promise of Star Wars is a galaxy long ago, far, far away. Anything in that galaxy should be fair game, but it's so successful, and they're so afraid to get out from under the umbrella of the Skywalkers. And to some degree, that's understandable. You look at the response to something like The Acolyte. The further afield you get, the more angry the fans get. You and I liked it a lot, but the fan base was mad, and we can get in all the reasons it's mad. Andor's has been incredibly well received, but I don't know that it's well watched. And
do you know one of the reasons it isn't, or you genuinely just don't know if it
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that it is. The viewership is high enough to warrant the money they spent on it. Yeah. For me, the craft of it is worth the money they spent on it, but whatever. But to that point, going back to the Acolyte of it, one of the things I liked about the Acolyte is it was willing to break from canon a little. It was willing to say expand the parameters of what makes a Star Wars. And I think for a franchise that's been going on that long, you kind of need to do that. And I think Alien Earth is kind of poking at the seams of what an alien can be, because it's a show and not a movie. One presumably that they intend to go on for multiple seasons, and some of that stuff might work and some might not. One of my favorite spider people to go to the comics example is Ben Reilly, and because I read those comics when I was a kid, and most hardcore Spider-Man fans loathe that run, hate it.
Really?
And so yeah, and so like sometimes like stuff doesn't work. Like when Superman got blue electricity powers, people hated it, but now they've brought those plot lines back. You experiment with stuff. Something's been going on forever. You experiment with stuff. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. Some of it people say doesn't work, and then they get nostalgia for it, and you bring it back. I don't know.
But like you just said, there's kind of a little bit more, like there's almost less grace for something like a Superman because there's more to it when it comes to Alien. How what are you that mad about? Like you said, the premise is pretty basic.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because I wouldn't think that that would be a one-to-one comparison,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, well, I think I saw somebody complaining about there's some needle drops, which doesn't surprise me because of Noah Hawley's other, he likes a good song, and they're like, how is this song in there? It's like, I don't know. It's this creator doing an Alien, man. Like this is how he would do it.
like how is it in there? As in this song wasn't out, it wouldn't be out yet.
I think it's more of like a tone thing, but I think the show is clearly trying to evoke that first Alien movie, especially with where it lands in the timeline. And I'm not necessarily mad at these people. I don't feel enmeshed in the Alien fandom enough to authoritatively say like, no, you guys should accept it. I just think it's interesting. It just makes me think about what we accept and don't accept. Like you and I just spoke recently about Spider-Man Homecoming, and I think they went in an effort to the Marvel Spider-Man movies, in an effort to differentiate them from the other Spider-Man movies, hewed away from stuff that is core to the character. So it's not like I'm immune to. It's like so it's just an interesting question of like what matters and what doesn't, what keeps a thing that thing and what doesn't. And I don't know that there's one right answer. There's definitely not one right answer for each person. Each fan is going to bring a different litmus test to that.
It's so true. I'm thinking about all the years of me saying that Superman is not the Man of Steel movie didn't work for me because that isn't who Superman is to me.
Yep.
Somebody who could watch his dad and make that choice as opposed to it not being a choice that eliminates everything Superman is to me.
Yeah.
But other people love that. And I know we're not talking about Superman, but I just think
but it's the same thing. I agree with you. Yeah.
it's just been done so many times and people have different lines and limits of like what is something's core to you.
Yeah.
But again, that's a character that I feel like people have to have a little more ownership of over a xenomorph, but maybe not.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting too because I know in the new Predator movie we're actually following a Predator, which seems to be a pretty big departure from the core premise of a Predator movie, but people seem excited for that. So it's just different.
Yeah, in all fairness, on my timeline, DJ, and I know people's internets can be completely different, but I have not seen hatred or complaints about Alien about Alien Earth. I'm only seeing people rave about it, and every time I go on, whether it's here or Christian show or Rejects or my channel, like the number one recommended thing to me for the last month has been this show.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested to see once you watch it. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it. Especially as there's an offer at the end of the 4th episode where it's like, this could break the show. If this doesn't work, if what you're throwing out here doesn't work, it's gonna nosedive the show. But it's a big swing, and so it could be interesting. And there's a lot of interesting ideas, and they're diving more into the idea of maybe putting children's brain into a super robot body was a bad idea. Maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Reminds me of an
episode of Black Mirror.
They did that in Black Mirror?
No.
Oh.
It just reminds me. Yeah. I could see where you like. There was that Rashida Jones episode this season about she gets something implanted in her because she has a terminal illness, but then they keep upcharging her. Like if you want to go more than a mile from your house, then you pay X amount per month. And if you want to do all these things, and it was like, this is a effing nightmare. I mean,
there's a subplot that kind of pops up in the 4th episode that has echoes of that as well. Because
like what is living? Like if you want to keep somebody alive, but to what
Yeah.
Like,
To
yeah.
the because in the alien universe, the Earth is like run by 5 corporations, which is bleak. It's bleak. It's bleak. Anyway, Roxy, speaking of bleak, you're watching that new. I think this is also supposed to be a Hulu joint.
Yeah.
The new Twisted Tale of Amanda
So,
Knox.
DJ, do you remember anything about Amanda Knox?
You know, it comes every once in a while. Amanda Knox comes back up because it feels like they're doing a new special about her or whatever. That was the girl that was wrongly convicted for murdering her roommate in
Yes.
Europe. Okay.
Yes. That's exactly the right way to describe what happened.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in 2025, as I've noticed, as I've said to people, like, do you remember Amanda Knox? The response typically is, that's the girl who murdered her roommate in Europe, right?
Yeah. Cool.
And so I'm actually happy that this show is out and is seemingly going to be very popular because she was exonerated and didn't murder her roommate. And she
Yeah.
spent 4 years in a prison in Italy. Um, and
Oof.
it was, as the show is showing, which I'm sure some of it's dramatized, but she was taken to trial in a different language that she did not speak.
Yeah.
She was like absolutely deprived of all of her basic needs, including food, sleep, everything. She admitted to something she didn't realize she was admitting to that didn't happen, and then was proved that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they clearly wanted to solve this murder, this grotesque murder, so badly that they did whatever it took to pin it on somebody because people were scared. And this
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that long ago. So
Yeah.
I will say that if true crime is not your thing, this is not your thing to
Yeah.
anybody who's like, should I watch this? But it's unbelievably well done. It's very anxiety inducing because at its core, the premise of this story, which is somebody's real life, is this could kind of happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And once the world sees you as a monster, it's very hard to not be a monster. So I think that they've done an amazing job with this. We are 3 episodes in, and it's teaching me about some of my prejudices and like I remember when the Amanda Knox thing happened there after the murder was announced and whatever it was, one of the big things that people kept bringing up is she's outside the house that the murder took place and she's kissing her boyfriend, Amanda Knox's, and
Yeah.
the photographers took a photo of that. And in this is like a very empathetic take on what happened with Amanda Knox, but she's like sitting there having a panic attack and her boyfriend like leans in to try to help her.
Yeah.
And instead, people took that as she's obviously guilty. She doesn't even care.
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting exercise on our perspective and perception versus reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're doing a really, really incredible job. And also, I hope that this, like, she's been exonerated in the courts, but I hope that this helps with people's how they remember what happened. So far, the show is excellent. It's a really great true crime show.
Yeah. So, because I think my first response when I saw this was like, "Oh, we can't leave this poor girl alone. Can we not leave this poor girl alone?" But it sounds like this is maybe. Did she have to sign off on this?
I
Do we
don't
know
know.
if like
That's a good question, DJ. Like, obviously, if she didn't want it made, then it's a completely different story. But I have to assume she did
yeah.
because the show is very clearly taking a stance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this girl got fucked. I
Yeah.
mean, truly, truly, and to this day, is the ramifications of what happened. It completely ruined her life. Like, um, as it would any of ours.
Yeah.
So, oh, she's an EP on the show.
Yeah. Lemon
Lemon,
Kim
that
says
makes
she's
sense
on the show.
because the show it is very biased.
Yeah.
And I think it maybe should be because
Yeah.
it's like this. I can't imagine. I can't imagine being in a country where I don't fully speak the language, being accused of something, not understanding, not having a translator,
Mm-hmm.
signing something that I did not do, and then going to prison for 4 years for murder.
Well, it's a good thing nothing like that would ever happen in this country.
I know that is one of the interesting things of the show. I do feel like they are trying to make the point about the Italian
Mm-hmm.
jurisdiction and whatnot. And I'm like, do they know that 1 out of every 10 people here accused of convicted of murder is innocent. That's the rate.
Yeah.
10% that we know of.
Yeah.
10% that we know of people convicted of murder here are actually innocent. Like 10% is so high.
Yeah, I think I just saw it was like a TikTok or something where somebody was talking about like, well, this woman, you can tell this woman actually murdered her kids because look at her body posture at this court. It's like, that's nonsense. All
That's
that
not a thing.
pseudoscience. Yeah, that's not, you can't tell. Like there's a whole grift with, experts, trial experts that'll come in and be like, if you listen to the person that makes the 911 call because they say this on the 911 call, that means they're actually guilty. Doesn't mean anything. It's nonsense. There's no evidence to back that up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
completely.
yeah.
I'm so with you, DJ, and this show kind of touches on that too. But it's like, just because you don't like somebody, you don't like the way that they talk, the way that they look, the way that they walk, the actions that they make, doesn't make them
Yeah.
guilty.
Yeah.
And like, just because somebody's making out with their boyfriend outside of a crime scene, would you do that? Maybe not. Doesn't
No.
make them guilty.
Yeah.
One of the things that the case kind of was contingent on is she sends this text message to this guy in Italian and says, "I'll see you later."
Mm-hmm.
And I guess to Italians that means "see you tonight,"
Yeah.
and to her that meant "see you when I see it. See you later."
Yeah.
And like the way that just words like that and language barrier stuff don't translate, and it's like a room full of people who are like, you obviously went to see him that night, and she's like, but I didn't, because see you later, and they're like, later that night, whatever. None of it is anything except for science, which is your blood was not found, your hair was not found, you were not there, your cell phone was not there. Like, you can't just not like somebody so they're a murderer.
Yeah. Also, Leonard Kim says even crazier, the actual murderer is currently going to court for alleged assault allegations of his girlfriend. I was going to wonder if they ever actually caught the person.
I actually don't know where we are at currently, but that's interesting that the actual murderer is going to court now, because that would make me think that the actual murderer is not in prison. Which would be crazy, because if he was found to be the actual murderer, DJ, this man is like, it was a brutal decapitate, eliminates the foot, sexual assault, like the whole 9 yards. So how could that person be?
Yeah.
Wave.
Well, I'm probably not going to watch it.
I wouldn't recommend this to you, especially because when I said, do you remember Amanda Knox? You said, that's the girl who was wrongfully convicted.
Yeah.
It makes you, I'm not kidding, DJ, officially the first person that I've said that to that has given me that response.
Yeah. Cool. That's another thing that's interesting about the time we're in, especially with social media, where it's kind of like the first thing out of the gate is the truth. And then everybody else is trying to catch up and like, well, actually, if you look at this chart, no, too late. The first thing's the truth. Right. And now we're not going to go back and double check our homework on that.
Totally. That is, and like, oof, that makes my heart pound thinking about things like that. And then you kind of look into it. I mean, it happens all the time to a lesser degree with like, thinking about the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni situation, which I still have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Or like, there's just so many of these, Johnny and Amber, even in the Diddy case, like there's so many cases where it's like, are we looking at the facts, or what is it that we're looking at?
Yeah. Well, interesting. So for the true crime kids out there,
this is a definite must-watch true crime show.
We got some, I reached out on the Discord to see what everybody else is watching. Jack Kidd says Twisted Metal, American Ninja Warrior finale, Peacemaker, K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along version. Roxy, have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters?
Oh, I still haven't. And I might be doing that one for the rejects, even though 2 other groups have already done it, but it's so huge. The sing-along, did you see that's in theaters?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's so fun. I'm good for them. No, I did actually. I watched it because it was one of the times I was feeding my son. I was like, I'll throw this on, and it's good.
The #1 Netflix movie of all time.
Well, and what I found out was interesting is apparently like all of that success does not the only way that success trickles down to the creators is if they decide to do a sequel, which with pop they are. That made me think of like, is that why we got Squid Game 2 and 3? Because it's like, well, I
I think
want
that's what
some of
happened with him. I think that's what he said.
yeah. I was like, I want some of that Squid Game money. So how about, which sucks. Like, good for that. Like, obviously, this, if you've seen the movie, it warrants sequels. Like, it feels like the type of thing that you would get sequels of. But also, like, put that shit in theaters, man. And I saw a headline. I didn't read the article, but I saw a headline that's like, it's dominating. The sing-along's dominating in theaters. Would the movie, before being released on Netflix, if it had just gone out of theaters, would it have dominated as much? I'm like, that's an interesting question. Is it? Yeah, that's interesting. It's an interesting, again, it just goes back to what we were talking about with caught stealing, of like, what works, what doesn't, what do people respond to or not. But it's good. It's worth watching. I'll be interested to hear if you watch it for Real Rejects. Countdown, the Thursday Murder Club, and then a bunch of letters that I assume are different sports: MLS, MLB, NFL. I know those last two. MLS, Major League Soccer?
Yeah.
By one says Alien Earth, Dexter Resurrection. Somebody mentioned, it's not by one. Somebody mentioned in our comments or something, Roxy, that they were like, Dexter Resurrection's just as good as the original show. Roxy, you should be watching it. Are you a Dexter fan? Did you watch?
I'm a huge Dexter fan, and everybody's been telling me this is the other recommendation I keep getting. But I missed Original Sin or whatever it is, and then now I don't know. I just watched the OG Dexter and loved it. The worst finale of all time. Then when Dexter came back, I watched that, and now there's been a couple spinoffs that I've missed. So I'm like, where do I start? Is it all relevant? What do I do?
Yeah. Weird. That's funny. That's funny. Killing
You asked
Eve.
me, DJ, what is the worst TV show finale of all time? My answer is Dexter.
Yeah, I remember people not liking it. My wife liked Dexter a lot, but fell off before the finale. That's a Showtime? Is that a Showtime or Stars? Either way.
Showtime, I think.
Showtime. Yeah, they tend to like because they did Shameless too, right? They tend to like really milk their stuff. It's like, 12, we're going to get 12 seasons of this shit.
I think they must have done Weeds also, which also went on way too past its expiration.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably not going to. Sorry, gang. I'm not going to catch up on Dexter. Twisted Metal, Peacemaker, Countdown. What's Countdown? This is the second person that mentioned Countdown. Should I be watching Countdown? Butterfly, the TV show with Kevin Bacon. Relay, Honey Don't, and Toxic Avenger. Ooh, buy one. What did you think of Toxic Avenger? I really liked it. Mike Joyce, Alien Earth, King of the Hill, True Blood, Platonic, Foundation. Mike Joyce, I'm thinking about checking out Foundation. I've been seeing stuff about it. I still got my Apple TV Plus subscription from Severance. Thinking about giving Foundation a watch. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Peacemaker, movies, K-pop Demon Hunters, Honey Don't, Eden, and Americana. My wife asked me the other day if I'm going to watch Honey Don't. And I said, I'll probably catch it on streaming. Roxy, do you know about Honey Don't?
No.
It's Margaret Qualley, the two Coen dothers, Joel and Ethan, who I think are two of the best filmmakers alive, decided to split up and start doing, instead of working together, do other things. Joel did an adaptation of Shakespeare's Macbeth with Denzel Washington that was fucking great. Ethan did, what was the last, Leonard, maybe you can help me in the comments. Before Honey Don't, he did another movie with Margaret Qualley that I thought was quite not good. And so they're like, we're doing another one, Honey Don't. And I'm like, I'll catch that on streaming. I'll wait. And I'll wait when you guys link back up, because that formula really worked for me. Leonard Kim, hey, you're in the chat. And you said Foundation is awesome. I'll give it a look. I'll watch it with all that free time I got.
Maybe I should get that one too. Everybody loves that. And I watch all the Apple stuff.
Yeah, and it sounds like a really, I know it's based on a book series. I believe it's based on a book series, and it sounds like a really deep, rich sci-fi thing, which I like. So, TV, Big Brother, Roxy. All right, we're ending nearing the end game here. So here's how I think things work on Blue Sky. I have no evidence to back this up, but it's as you follow people, because the algorithm isn't the same as something like on Twitter or whatever. I think if you follow somebody that's into something, you get a lot of that thing. Because I'm getting a lot of Big Brother and I don't fucking know why. Like, these aren't people I follow. Yeah. This is just whatever. And it's not like, I don't know if they're people that I follow, but I kept seeing this hashtag like BB27, whatever the number is. And I was like, what are we talking about? And why is there so much of this shit in my feed? And then I realized it's Big Brother. I'm like, again, why is there so much of this shit in my feed?
I love that show so much.
Yeah.
What do you want to know, DJ?
How are we doing? What are we Big
It's an
Brothering? What are
interesting
we?
season because there's one veteran player, like
Yeah.
this girl Rachel Riley. She's one of the biggest Big Brother players of all time, who is on this season, and everybody else is new.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So people are like scared of her, like she has legitimate power. She is the most famous of all of them, and like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
all kind of like don't want to eliminate her, do want to eliminate her, whatever it is. That seems to be at the core of the show. And she is like a crazy drama queen, and I love her, but she is nuts nice, and that's what I can tell you.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Well, everybody look out for Rachel Riley. Let's see. We've got back to Leonard Kim. Are you my first? What Leonard Kim, what is that? Leonard Kim, what is Are You My First? What is that? Roxy, do you know what that is?
No,
Leonard Kim, what is that?
must be a movie. Let me look.
It says TV.
No.
Here's why I'm worried. Is I saw some sort of article about like virgin reality show about virgins, and I'm worried that's what this is. I didn't know it was already out.
Yes, it is. Group
Oh
of virgin
my
singles gather at
god.
tropical resort. Leonard, will I like this one?
Oh my god, Roxy, we live in okay. Reality show for virgins. It's crazy. God damn it.
Will
Roxy,
I like it, Leonard? Yes or no?
we live in a parody, Roxy. So I'm replaying Grand Theft Auto 5, and a big part of Grand Theft Auto 5 is it's like a heightened, everything's like heightened and ridiculous. And Grand Theft Auto 6 is supposed to come out early next year, and they've been working on it for over a decade at this point. And I'm worried for them because I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and I'm like, no, this is just the world I live in. This is no longer a joke. This is how stupid everything's gotten. Like, what's happening? Like a reality show about is there literally there's no line anymore? Nothing. No, no. Like that's not a good thing we should be doing.
Yeah. Also, how do you get on the show?
Well, I've seen you be a virgin, apparently. Leonard Kim says, watch it. It's surprisingly wholesome. Okay. I'm going to take your word for it.
All right.
Oh, BIP, which is Bachelor in Paradise, Upload, Alien Earth, Twisted, Tale of Amanda Knox, Platonic, Acapulco, Terminal List, Dark Wolf. I've been seeing billboards for that. TSITP.
The summer I turned pretty, DJ. You've asked me that one multiple times.
I'm sorry, I don't do well with the Leonards. Countdown. Okay, Leonard, what's Countdown? Because I think every single person on this list has mentioned Countdown, and I don't know what it is. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. You know what? I've only watched the first episode of that. Twisted Metal, Peacemaker Foundation, Chief of War. Roxy, are you keeping up with Chief of War?
I'm behind.
Okay. That tells me maybe it's not pulling its weight. Maybe Chief of War is not pulling its weight.
No, I don't think it's that. It's the subs at night that make me like, and now Amanda Knox has complete subs too. So reading them sometimes, like, I can't do it at nighttime.
Gotcha. Leonard Kim says Prime show featuring Jensen Ackles. That should be enough for you to be in, rolling on the floor laughing. Listen, I'm not a supernatural boy, so even though I like Jensen Ackles, he's not like an immediate buy-in for me. Chief of War Sports movies, The Map That Leads to You. I know nothing about that, but it sounds like
Looks
a Roxy
good.
thing.
The guy from Riverdale.
Oh, which one? The main guy?
Yeah.
Appa? Is that what?
Yeah. KJ.
My wife.
If I had said KJ Appa, you would have known who I was talking about.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, I have to call him the guy from Riverdale because DJ will have no idea.
It's a weird name, and he was supposed to be one of the Wonder Twins at one point.
Oh.
I watched the first season of Riverdale.
You did?
Yeah, I watched the first season of Riverdale. No, did I finish it? Ooh, I watched half of the first season of Riverdale.
24 episodes, DJ. I would say there's literally 0% chance. It's also with Madeline Klein, who I was going to describe as the girl from Outer Banks, but you might know her from Glass Onion.
Yes, that would be the thing I've seen her in. She's popped up. She's one of those people that pops up, not necessarily in things, but like, hey, she's at a premiere, and it's like, who's this person? Glass Onion, got it. Wait, you said something that made me. Oh, my wife has been watching Pen 15.
So good.
Yeah. And she's really liking it. But I had a moment where I was just sitting as she was watching it, and I was like, could you imagine if the cast of Riverdale looked like like actual children, like the actual age they're supposed to be, as opposed to like adults?
Blech.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, gang, this was a fun one. This is, if you're not part of the Patreon, this is what you're missing out on. Come join us over at patreon.com/onlystupid answers. I do shows with Sal from Comic Pop as well. There's plenty of stuff you can watch live. Oh, there's so much to enjoy. But also be sure to check out Roxy's personal channel. Roxy, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, every Wednesday and Sunday, youtube.com/Roxy Stryer. So sometimes we do a lot of television focus, and then other times we just decide to talk about our lives. So it kind of
Very
depends on
cool.
the day. Come join us.
Check that out. Come join her. You can find me everywhere that matters at DJ Talks Trash, including my personal channel, where I do shows like Trash Talk, where I have a one-on-one discussion with a guest. I got a cool one that I'm getting ready for right now. That's going to be coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. And right now I'm with Sal, and we're talking about the DCEU movies. We just did the 2016 Suicide Squad. We're about ready to do Wonder Woman, so I'm glad to be watching one that I remember liking. It's been a while since I revisited, but I remember liking it.
Yeah,
So more than the 2016 Suicide Squad. So there we go. That is that. Follow us everywhere that matters at Only Stupid Answers. But on Blue Sky,
keep the vowels in, stupid.
keep the vowels in, stupid. And we will see you all next time. Thanks for everybody that joined us live, and we'll see you next time.